Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I'm making for Wenhao as part of their custom monthly music review. And if we switch over to here, we have ourselves a track by an act named ChihSiou titled Not My Opponent at All. Hopefully that translation is semi or accurate or preferably accurate. And we're going to listen through this track from start to finish. And we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. What do we have? Oh, that's a cute little bunny rabbit he's got on his bed. Little stuffed bunny. Oh, it's an elephant. That's fun. Is that a guitar or like a synth pad or something like that? Oh, interesting phrasing. Lovely reverb tails. Ah, really glittery guitar lines, a bit of sliding and some delays on them. A little bit of head voice there occasionally, but firmly within a chest voice. Great. I like the fact there's been an absence of drums. I don't think in a song like this you need there to be percussion. But I do like the use of a synth sequence here to provide a groove here that is different from the free flow that we've had before. Phenomenal vocal harmonies there, very pretty. They've got heavily compressed drums in here. There's a little bit of kick to them, excuse the pun, but I was expecting a little bit more power from the low end, from those bassy elements. There we go. Great. Really clever build there. I like that we had the flatline drums for that bridge section, and then in the hook they just come boom. You know, it's great. Great misdirection of expectations there. I'm satisfied with that. Again, the feathery kind of whole tone textures of the synth stems with the guitar parts, alongside the bass, the drums. It's great. It's a really sweet video, by the way. I'm really enjoying my time watching it. I don't usually sort of try and comment on the music videos, but I think it's especially charming. I like how, even though obviously the woman's a great singer and, you know, she's got every right to be in her own music video, I do like the focus being on the child and the elephant man and stuff, and telling the story like with the security guards and the woman crying while she drinks alcohol and stuff. Good man. It's like the elephant is trying to help him to make better decisions. Oh, that's cool. The low end is well balanced now. I like the use of the sequences alongside. I think there might be some occasional synth layers there on the pads on the sides. Has a kind of starry aesthetic to it because of those high elements. Really simple vocal melody is for the ba-ba-da-da. Perfect. Yep. And which you da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know, that transition there into the next bar helps you to go into a new section there nice and smoothly. Great choice there. So thick and full sounding. Delicately textured. Very dreamlike aesthetic. She's also got some like some higher end vocal layers as well, like some head voice bits there, which are very subtle to kind of make her sound fuller in the mix. I think that's a really clever. And the kid, oh, of course, because the elephant was the stuffed animal. So this is a dream he was having with the kid, right? So, oh, I get it. Yeah, no, there was an elephant stuffed toy. And now she's waking up. Does she still have the elephant there? Where's the elephant gone? It's a cool room that she has, by the way. That's a dope place. I really enjoy the aesthetic of that. I want those neon lights. Do you see those like Pac-Man ones and everything like that? Can someone in the comments please tell me where you get those? Because they're utterly fantastic. I can't assume they'll be cheap, but are we still keen to have a go at them? Yeah. What a beautiful... See, that's the beauty of artwork in its most simple form. It's not a Picasso, but it doesn't need to be. That kind of childlike innocence portrayed there is very true to the nature of the drawing there, and I think that's just as meaningful and impactful, you know. You can clearly see what's happening there. No, I'm really impressed by that. What a fantastic song. And this is the conclusion of my SP Patron review, the custom monthly music review for Wenhao that I'm doing today. I have a track by ChihSiou of a track called Not My Opponent at all. All right, just double checking that. I don't want to be too far off. What do I think the track is about? Well, I obviously don't have a grasp of the language itself, but I do think the track is about someone who is kind of going into a dream and maybe looking to have teamwork with someone, and they're kind of dreaming of that companionship, that fun in their life, and that connection that they have with their childhood through to an adult, of never losing that nostalgia for that companionship or anything like that magic in your life, you know, your dreams not, or your imagination not being your opponent, the monster under your bed, you know, things can be positive. I think that's wonderful. It's very intimate and a wonderful thing for this musician to talk about. I have a lot of love for that. It's great to see her open up to express herself, and for a first impression, it is incredibly sincere and genuine. Really happy with that. Her voice is fantastic. It was not a hugely technical performance from like an actual literal technique perspective. There weren't like wide vibratos and crazy vocal runs or anything like that. But she has this kind of breathy, wispy kind of style of communicating that I think works well with the story. She had great controlled chest voice, and her head voice was solid too, with occasional higher notes there. The transitions were seamless and melded in intermittently into the verse and chorus parts, and very, very impressive. I really had a great time with what was going on with the consistency of that expression there. I don't usually like the way that people would like keep a similar attitude throughout the whole song, but I think if you're going from a dream aesthetic, it's fine because you're stuck in that headspace. And when people are dreaming, there's not often a huge amount of variety with the way they express themselves, you know, because they're calming, they're sleepy. It's like a remembering kind of thing, you know, going through your mind for those things that occurred, you know. So the delivery and the style of it makes sense. The track behind it, the accompaniment, about roughly 4 minutes, or just over that, was fantastic. It was really pleasant to listen to. It was a beautiful song. We had a lovely situation there at that 4 minute mark with verse sections and chorus sections and little bits of instrumental sort of space there for the instruments to come in and be by themselves. ChihSiou did not overwhelm the mix. She did not try to take the attention the whole time. There was a lovely synergy between what she was doing and a respect shown by her towards these synthetic elements there. Like if we go back to the start of the track, right, what does it begin with? You know, it starts with that wonderful kind of warm, fuzzy kind of synth part with her voices coming in with lovely reverb textures that sort of sink into the ether, the atmosphere that's created. And we get some additional guitar parts as well, with like a little bit of a bass resonance there. And then we got the kind of flatter drums there, which are more compressed to kind of add like a mid-tone sort of instantiate, or show you that there will be more sort of a dedicated percussion in, and boom, they come in. You got all these other synth layers and all that come over top. It's a wonderful sort of development. You get that theme round about like the 130. You get the entire full spectrum of the song around the 1:40 mark, which is a really bold move. Now, a lot of the time, musicians that I work with, that I review, they are typically quite afraid of letting the theme be too late into the song, because I don't think they have confidence in either the listener or wanting to listen to what they have to say or do, which is in itself very sad. But also, you know, I don't think they have the confidence in their own theme being able to handle it. I think part of that is because they don't, especially like in like genres like hip hop and rap, where like there's like that one motif that goes the whole way through. There is just like a lack of confidence in being able to develop that as you go along and know when to put where and stuff. And I think that ChihSiou and everyone else that worked on this track knew exactly where to sort of like, you know, bring another instrument or take it back. You know, there was a lovely sort of, I wouldn't say melancholic. I don't think it goes too far in one direction or not. It's not a super happy song. It's not a sad song by any means. It's like a calm, hopeful song. It's in the sense that it could easily have been very boring to listen to, because it doesn't really go in one direction or the next. It's very calming and peaceful, but I suppose that's as much of a valid way of doing a song as anything else. I think for people that are wanting a sort of a chilled aesthetic to listen to music-wise, or a story that kind of reminds them when they used to be young and have dreams like that, this works very well. It is pop music, you know, and there's nothing wrong with pop music being pop music. It's just, it's not gonna like stab at you in any particularly strong way, tonally or harmonically, although it may make you feel a bit warm or fuzzy inside. And I do think that the video helps build it a lot. Even though I did like the way that ChihSiou expressed herself vocally, and the vocal melodies and the phrases of them, and the harmonies that we had occasionally, I don't really know if we committed to anything particularly unique or game-changing with the accompaniment. I suppose, to be fair, the drums that I thought were kind of weird at the start was one of the more unique things, simply because we just didn't have the same drum tone until the hook, which is kind of dope. We didn't have any sort of really dominant lead elements come in aside from the vocals, even though I think we would have room to maybe have done that, but we wanted to sort of let the story kind of slow dance a little bit. You know, I did like the synth sequences that were going around on the sides there. They were kind of twisting and turning there. It had a kind of a digital sort of synthetic aesthetic that I think worked well with what the video was doing. I kind of firmly believe that the song is better when you watch the video with it, which is a weird thing for me to say. I don't know how much power it would have by itself. In that regard, I think it's kind of like the situation like ChihSiou, where ChihSiou, you know, you need to watch the video with the song to really get the whole effect. I've had my complaints about that, but to be fair, ChihSiou is one of the bigger artists that I reviewed on my channel, and there's a reason why people like his stuff. It's because it works. You know, people like audio-visual experiences, especially when they're overwhelming and they suck you into the world. And I think this is one of the best examples of like a video to audio connection that I've seen and heard in a while. We had a really simple chord progression to follow. The bass line stuck with those 16ths. It was 1, 2, so 8ths. 1 and no, it was 16ths. You know, 16th grooves there. So it was variety in the percussion to an extent. The drums were relatively simple when we did get to the main part. But there's a bit of finesse with those earlier bits with the flatline drums. I think again, like what I think is, how is ChihSiou gonna give us more of who she is in future? Like, maybe you need to understand the vocals natively to really get a sense of who she is. But what is she gonna do to remain unique with future stuff? What is she going to do to give herself her own distinct style that will help me to easily identify her? Because as much as I understand that to be a successful musician nowadays, you have to brand yourself, it's not, and it hasn't always been that way, but it is especially, you know, especially now. But what will the next song of hers be like? How will she take what the song has done and make it her own for like an EP or an album? Is it going to be more about dreams? Is it going to be more about the vocal style there? Is it going to be more about encouraging lots of synthetic elements together like this and having more of a synth wavy kind of vibe to it? I don't know, man. Synth pop basically is the way I see this. But I think as a single it works incredibly well. I think I enjoyed the sounds of the instruments more than the chords and melodies that were playing. And I think there could have been more room to have more variety with the drum grooves, but that's just because I'm kind of pedantic about it, and I I'm greedy, but I don't think there was a note out of place. I think the minimalism for the most part was effective, which may seem weird that I'm saying minimalism when there was just so much stuff going on in the chorus, but it's little bits of different instruments, and I still don't feel like I still feel as if there could have been another lead element in there that kind of took the attention away from ChihSiou, and that wouldn't have been detrimental to her stance or effect on this piece. It's not like it would have taken away from her. But anyways, the recording, mixing and mastering, the production in general is great, commercial grade, vocals nicely recorded, filtered and EQ'd, great presence to the the drums and the heavily reverb delay soaked guitars when they came, and the synths were nice and airy and floaty. No harsh textures there. The bass as well is nice and full, but very subtle there to not kind of overwhelm the mix. Ultimately, I think it's great. Like a nice and wide and stereo field, no weird resonant frequency spectrum. It's nice, and the leveling was solid, and it was nice and low without pumping. Nothing was an issue, studio-wise. It's one of those singles where, I think it was a strong song, but I don't know if I would have liked it as much without the video. And I do hope that ChihSiou writes more songs in future that will be just as powerful, regardless of whether if there's a video or not. But that's my review of ChihSiou's Not My Opponent at All. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show some love to the various musicians and artists responsible for this, and via their YouTube page. And stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need to help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next SP Patrons video. Spiderhands out.